दुनिया में असंभव कुछ भी नहीं इस दुनिया में असंभव कुछ भी नहीं। हम वो सब कर सकते हैं जो हम सोच सकते हैं और हम वो सब सोच सकते हैं जो हमने कभी नहीं सोचा। गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन। विद दिस पॉजिटिव नोट, I welcome you all to our session, which relates very much to the uncertainties that we have faced for the past few months. As we all know, the previous 18 to 19 months have been full of ups and downs for the world. Everything came to a standstill. Nobody had ever expected or planned for such unprecedented times. Everyone wondered what lies in future. The core of our future, that is our students, also suffered in academics. Students are the core of our education system. To help manage the damage, their studies also went through different phases from physical presence in front of a teacher to virtual presence in front of a screen, and now slowly in hybrid mode, where a blend of online and offline teaching and learning has started. Conducting exams also became a challenge during these times. Last year, CBSE found it very difficult to conduct exams due to pandemic. But as Nelson Mandela has rightly quoted, a winner is a dreamer who never gives up. CBSE also came as a winner and planned well in the prevailing scenario for the exams. This year, exams are being conducted in two terms and syllabus has been divided term wise. First term exams are just over, and here we have our student participants to share their views and experiences on this pattern of studies and their uh, exam patterns. But let me first introduce you to our esteemed co panelists. Our first panelist is Mrs. Mala, HOD Computer Science, who is having 22 years of experience in Guru Harkishan Public School. She is also a Google she is also associated with Google educator groups as a co-leader of Punjab and Amritsar. She is also a Microsoft innovator educator. Our next panelist is Mrs. Deepika Pasupuleti, who is a trainer and mentor and a passionate educationist. She is into content development with 15 years of experience in corporate as well as education sector. She is also a Microsoft innovator educator. In addition to the honorable panelists, let me also introduce, just a minute, I can't see. Let me also introduce myself. I am Kirti. I worked as a quality analyst and production manager in transcription industry prior to entering the education sector. I am working with Delhi government for the past 9 years. I am also a qualified counselor and family therapist and keep posting educational and motivational videos on YouTube for the benefit of students. As an educator, I feel online teaching and learning has broadened our horizons as we are reaching beyond classrooms and schools to students, and we are able to reach masses. So our contribution has expanded. As a counselor, I feel worried because I think that many students are feeling stressed due to the lack of regular classroom environment. So let's go on directly to our student participants to have their views. So here, first I would like to invite Srija, a student of class 12th from Hyderabad. She is a promising YouTuber and singing is her passion. She aspires to become a chartered accountant. Welcome, Srija. Over to you.
Wishing a lovely evening to the panelists and my dear friends. Thank you to Deepika ma'am, Kirti ma'am, and Mala ma'am for providing me with this opportunity. My name is Srija and I'm a student of class 12. I'm here to share my views on the changes that the online education system has brought, how my adaptation to these new circumstances has varied and developed or degraded over the past 2 years. The first half was a pretty joyful one for students as it came with such great perks, not having to wake up early, being able to switch off the camera, and the travel exemption. And also, we were able to reach out to many online sources for our education purpose. But this has soon turned into a realization as we began missing the human interaction and small talks in a classroom. The online class at best was average when it came to providing student teacher relations, in my opinion. It concentrated more on the educational and academic knowledge, which was good till some extent. This wasn't admirable for us in the long run. This method of learning soon wasn't able to withhold our interest, and it led to disengagement, distraction, and converted into lack of motivation. There were not only disadvantages, but also many advantages to speak of. We were able to learn from a new from a new platform through which we learned new skills, and also we were able to explore a whole new world. But the innumerable distractions that were always around us, be it siblings for few, and also other electronic devices. And to be specific, in my case, every time I heard the cooker whistle go off in my house kitchen, to be the simple reason, I wondered what the meal would be. I wonder when the lunch break would be given. And I also had the opportunity to turn off my camera and go check in the kitchen. But this would never happen in a classroom. And my reason for this would be physical environment around us sets us and prepares us for a task more than anything. And our students found it as a new learning experience too. And being novice to the online education system, we got a lot to explore and we were overjoyed to learn a new education way. But also, the exams were a hassle for us. And we also missed the student teacher small talks before every single lesson. As an extrovert, I was able to speak out in the class, but, but my friends shared with me their experience. They were shy and lacked the confidence to speak up without being picked in a classroom. And I would wish for physical education to return to its state, but also I prioritize the safety of our students and keeping in mind that minors are the one with no vaccination. I hope online education becomes into a better learning situation and everyone is able to adapt to it quickly. To my juniors who would also be learning in this, if for the worst case, I hope they are able to catch up and adapt since they are experienced since they have experienced 2 years prior than us in a senior class. Thank you for this opportunity. And also, I'm glad that everybody is ready to listen to our student opinion and understand it to make better changes.
Thank you, Srija, for your valuable feedback. Now I would call upon Harshit, who is a class 11 student who loves to cook and draw, and he finds his interest in YouTube and wants to prepare for IAS. Welcome, Harshit.
I'm good evening to all panelists और my friends. मैं आपके साथ अपना ऑनलाइन ऑनलाइन स्टडी और टीचिंग का एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करने जा मैं आपके साथ अपना ऑनलाइन स्टडी और का एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ कि जो ऑनलाइन पेंडेमिक था इसमें ऑनलाइन स्टडीज़ और ऑफलाइन स्टडीज़ हमारे दोनों मोड में क्लासेस हुई हैं और इसमें जितने भी एक्सपीरियंस मिले वो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़िया थे और मैं आपको यही बताना चाहूँगा कि जो ऑनलाइन मोड है उसमें क्लासेस में हमें बहुत ज़्यादा रिसोर्सेज की ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो ऑफलाइन मोड इज़ बेटर देन ऑनलाइन क्लासेस
Thank you, Harshit, for your comments. And Mala ma'am, would you like to give your inputs to both the students?
Hi. Yes, the views of Harshit Jain and Srija were really appreciable. Like within a short span of time, they could think all these things and accumulate in such a way. It was really mm, great blessing for everyone to know about them, how they have correlated their views with us. Okay, so now the
Yes,
next
our
one.
students are definitely intelligent.
Yeah. So the next participant is Ayush Tiwari. I now invite Ayush Tiwari, yeah,
Yeah.
a student of
A
class
student of
12.
class 12.
He is interested
He is
in music
interested in music
and wishes to
and wishes
explore
to
the world.
explore the world.
He wishes to
He
become
wishes
a
to
web
become a
developer,
web developer.
and he is a vice president of his school's Interact Club. Welcome, Ayush.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to the panelists, my dear friends, and the audience. I'm Ayush Tiwari from class 12th. First of all, I would like to thank you, Mala ma'am, Deepika ma'am, and Kirti ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. So, let's talk about exams. The exams were quite different this time. For most of us, the OMR pattern was new. The number of questions in the exams were a lot, and the time, which was 1.5 hours, and 20 minutes for reading wasn't enough. And let's not forget the numericals and some big questions of physics and maths. They made the paper more lengthy than actually it was. The weightage of every question was same. If it had been a subjective paper with the same question, the weightage of each question would be more. So in the end, I just want to say that CBSE would have been nicer to us and have given a lot more time and have reduced the number of questions, then it might be less challenging for us giving this paper. Thank you.
Wow, that was
Wow,
nice.
that
So
was
you people
nice.
have liked the exam patterns.
To some extent, yes, but to some extent, no, because some paper were good, but some were horrible.
That is there
That
in
is there.
subjective
That is
papers
there in
also.
subjective.
Thank
So
you,
let's take views
Ayush.
from the, yeah.
Thank you, Ayush.
So we have Sakshi now. Our next student panelist is Sakshi, a student of class 12th. She's a promising model and aspires to be an aerospace engineer. She's an avid reader and a passionate dancer. Welcome, Sakshi. We would love to hear from you.
Good evening. Good evening, panelists. I would like to thank Deepika ma'am, Mala ma'am, and Kirti ma'am for giving me an opportunity to voice out my opinions. When the lockdown started, I enjoyed my time because we didn't have to go to school, right? Basically, every student's dream come true. Not having to wake up in the morning and instead of going to school, the school coming to us, but excess of anything gets boring at one point. Things started getting limited, and studying alone with computer as the only companion can be terrifying. And the isolation from the social world hasn't been easy either. I personally feel that online classes direct to less creativity and more instruction. Anyways, I'd be lying if the online mode of education didn't have its advantages. We now have a more flexible timing, and the fact that we can attend classes from any part of the world has made it so much more convenient. But going to school and connecting with everyone definitely hits different. While the online mode of learning can be the best and the only solution to blossom our knowledge in times like these, they weren't enough to prepare us for our exams. Like most of you know, we just completed writing our term one exams. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that it didn't go well. We students had to face a lot of changes in the examination pattern this time, and it definitely didn't make things easier for us. So, when we talk about the OMR sheet, well, a lot of us were very new to the concept itself. And while others could adapt easily, the rest couldn't. And the duration of our exam was 1.5 hours, and we were given an additional 20 minutes, like our previous panelist just told, for reading and analyzing the paper, which is great and very much needed, but it isn't enough. Let me put it this way. If it had been a subjective exam, without the MCQs in the normal pattern, but with the same questions that we faced, the weightage of each question would be more. So you can see how challenging these objective examinations were. Although, as a student who loves maths, numericals weren't really an issue for me. In fact, the MCQs made solving numericals much easier because, even if you don't know the exact answer, you could guess your way through it. Or even if you got an approximate one, you could just go with the one which is more closer. So, yes, and the exam was solely based on conceptual learning. So, assertion and reasoning again was pretty easy if you were thorough with the chapter. But yes, a few of them were tricky. And when we talk about the syllabus, most of us noticed a few out of box questions, and it made us think that questions were no longer pertaining to the syllabus and could be asked in a different way. While it can be a great way to make the students think out of the box, it hampered the scoring of students. These exams weren't how we expected them to be. Like I've discussed, the OMR sheet, the time crunch, the out of box questions, etc. Had there been an objective examination with a lesser number of questions and a more flexible duration, it would have been less challenging for us. And since this pattern is new to us, I guess we all need a little more time and practice to adapt to it. So, yes, that's it. And I'd like to thank all the teachers for keeping the tree of knowledge alive, especially in these tough times. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Um,
much for your views. Yes, Mala ma'am.
Thank you, Sakshi. And we all from our side wish you to aspire your modeling career also, along with your aerospace engineership. That was so nice for your insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, next we have Amit. Amit is a class 12 student.
Yes,
His interests vary from getting informed of history of things, traveling to places, reading, and playing outdoor games. He aspires to be an IAS. Congrats, and your views, Amit.
थैंक यू मैम। एक तो मैं आप सबको थैंक यू करना चाहता हूँ कि आपने मेरे को इतने काबिल समझा कि मैं यहाँ पे जो मैम, स्पेशली थैंक्स टू कीर्ति मैम क्योंकि कीर्ति मैम नहीं पता था इसके बारे में। अगर मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में बताऊँ और अगर मैं अपने ओपिनियन ऑनलाइन क्लास के बारे में रखना चाहूँ तो मैम मेरा ये होगा, जो ऑनलाइन क्लास है वो ऑफलाइन के हिसाब से थोड़ी सी हार्ड हो सकती है मैम, क्योंकि हम अपने जो क्वेश्चन है डायरेक्टली मैम कोई भी मैम या सर हम उनके साथ शेयर नहीं कर सकते हैं। डायरेक्टली तो नहीं कर सकते मैम, कई बार सर्वर का डाउन होता है, कभी कुछ हो सकता है। लेकिन जो ऑफलाइन क्लास होती है हम उसमें डायरेक्टली मैम से पूछ सकते हैं, मैम हमें ये दिक्कत आ रही है, सर हमें ये दिक्कत आ रही है। बट ऑनलाइन क्लास ये थोड़ा सा हार्ड हो जाता है मैम कंपेरेटिवली उसके। और मैम इस बार जो हमारे पेपर आए हैं वो हम सब जानते हैं कि एमसीक्यू में आए हैं, जो हर बार जो होता था थ्योरी में आते थे। और जो हमारे पेपर इस तरीके से आए हैं जैसे 3 उसमें बटे हुए थे सेक्शंस में। पहले सेक्शन में 24 क्वेश्चन थे, उसमें से 20 करने थे, दूसरे में भी 24 तो उसमें से 20 करने थे, और जो तीसरा सेक्शन था उसमें 10 आए हुए थे, मतलब 12 आए हुए थे, उसमें से हमें 10 करने थे मैम। तो जो सारे क्वेश्चन थे 0.8 मार्क्स की स्कोरिंग थी और सारे क्वेश्चन में बराबर थे मैम। इन पेपरों की सबसे बढ़िया बात तो ये थी, सबसे पहले अगर मैं एडवांटेजेस की बात करूं, सबसे बढ़िया बात ये थी कि हम इन सबको मतलब आंसर हमारे सामने ही था, आंसर बिल्कुल हमारे सामने था। हम बस उन्हें जज वो करना था कि तो निकाले कैसे, आंसर क्या होगा। अगर हमें क्वेश्चन आता है तो आता है, नहीं आता तो नहीं आता मैम, हमें मेनली इस चीज पे फोकस करना था। बट मैम जो थ्योरी का पेपर होता है अगर हमें उसमें ना भी आए हम उसमें तब भी कुछ ना कुछ कर सकते हैं, तो इसलिए मैम ये थोड़ा सा हार्ड लगा था। और बाकी मैं अपना एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। हिस्ट्री के पेपर में मेरे साथ हुआ था, क्योंकि हिस्ट्री के पेपर में क्वेश्चन आया था मैप का। मैंने देखा ये क्वेश्चन में मेरे को आता नहीं है, 16 क्वेश्चन था। उसमें यूं पूछ रखा था कि एक मतलब शहर के बारे में पूछ रखा था, वो 14th सेंचुरी में स्टैब्लिश हुआ था वहां पे। तो मैंने देखा ये क्वेश्चन तो मुझको आता ही नहीं है। सबसे पहले फिर मैंने क्वेश्चन देखा, ऑप्शंस देखे मैम, 4 ऑप्शन थे मैम, चारों ध्यान से देखे। फिर मैंने देखा इसका तो शायद चंद्रगिरी हो सकता है, लेकिन आंसर था उसका विजयनगर। तो जब मैंने मैप में देखा तो मैंने मैप में देखा बी पॉइंट उस जगह है ही नहीं जहाँ पे चंद्रगिरी है। तो मैम जो बाकी फिर जो ए और जो मतलब 3 पॉइंट्स बच गए थे, फिर मैंने उनको देखा। तो मैम फिर मैंने, मेरे सर थे वीरेंद्र सर, उन्होंने ऑफलाइन क्लास में मेरे को बताया था अगर ऐसे नहीं तो आप ऐसे कर सकते हैं विजयनगर को निकालने के लिए। वो जो बी पॉइंट था विजयनगर बता, मैंने मैम फिर उधर से रिवर्स बनानी चालू करी। मैंने एक रिवर बनाई, उसके नीचे एक और रिवर बनाई, और जहां पे दोनों रिवर बनी वो बिल्कुल विजयनगर पॉइंट था मैम। तो मैम ऐसे मैंने करके ऐसे अपने क्वेश्चन करे, और मैम सबसे मतलब हार्ड क्वेश्चन हम इस पेपर में, मतलब कैसे भी कोई भी सब्जेक्ट का पेपर है, सबसे जो ज्यादा जो हार्ड था एसेशन और रीजनिंग का पेपर था मैम। क्योंकि इस क्वेश्चन था एसेशनिंग और रीजनिंग का। बेसिकली जो हमें देख रहे हैं, मैं बता दूं एसेशनिंग और रीजनिंग में होता क्या है। हिंदी में इसे हम कहेंगे अभिकथन और कारण। मेनली हमें अभिकथन दे रखा होता है, एक स्टेटमेंट होती है और उसका कारण दे रखा होता है। हमें हमारे पास होता है 4 ऑप्शंस। पहला ये कहता है कि हम अभिकथन को ए कहते हैं और रिसेशन को आर कहते हैं। मेनली क्वेश्चन ए में होता है ए और आर दोनों सही है और आर ए की सही व्याख्या करता है। पहला पॉइंट ये। और दूसरा पॉइंट होगा ए और आर दोनों सही है परंतु आर ए की सही व्याख्या नहीं करता है। सी पॉइंट ये कहते हैं मैम ए और आर दोनों गलत है। डी को कहता है ए गलत है परंतु आर सही है। मैम ये क्वेश्चन सबसे हार्ड लगा मैम मेरे को सारे पेपरों में अपने। तो मैम यही बात मैं आप सबसे शेयर करना चाहता था। थैंक यू मैम।
तो अमित, आपकी प्रायर नॉलेज ने आपको बहुत हेल्प करी है। जैसे आपने कहा कि आपने रिवर्स फाइंड आउट कर ली और फिर आपने क्वेश्चन का आंसर फाइंड आउट कर लिया। तो यही बात हो जाती है कि जब हम 10th 11th या 12th क्लास में आ जाते हैं या फिर हमारे हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग स्किल्स से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस की बात आ जाती है, एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस की बात आ जाती है, जहां पर हमारी वो नॉलेज चेक की जाती है कि हमें प्रायर नॉलेज क्या है और उसके बेसिस पे हम आंसर फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं कि नहीं। तो ये वाले क्वेश्चंस मुझे लगता है कि आपको इस तरह का मौका देते हैं, इस तरह की नॉलेज आपकी चेक की जा सकती है और आपके माइंड की जो प्रोसेसिंग है वो इनके थ्रू फास्ट की जा सकती है। अगर डायरेक्ट ही क्वेश्चंस पूछ लें तो माइंड क्या वर्क करेगा,
Deepika
डायरेक्ट
ma'am,
बुक
what
में
are
से
your
ही आ
views
जाए
with
तो।
regard to Amit? Can
क्या
you,
मैम?
Deepika ma'am?
हाँ मैडम, थैंक यू। अमित, दैट वाज़ वंडरफुल बेटा, जो मैंने आपसे सुना अभी आपके आपकी मुश्किलों के बारे में। उसको हम इंग्लिश में डिडक्शन बोलते हैं बेटा। डिडक्शन इज़ लाइक, जैसे
यस
आपने
मैम।
बोला, आपके सर ने बोला है कि जैसे आपने 2 रिवर्स ड्रॉ किए थे टू अंडरस्टैंड वेयर विजयनगर इज़ फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन इन द मैथ। मुझे वो बहुत अच्छा लगा। द थिंग इज़, सी, आपने जो बोला है उसको हम इमोशनल कनेक्ट या फिजिकल कनेक्ट जो क्लासरूम में होता है, या उसकी कमी ज़रूर वर्चुअल क्लासरूम में दिखाई दी थी हम लोगों को। हमको भी वो महसूस हुआ एज़ एन एजुकेटर्स, एज़ टीचर्स, एज़ फैसिलिटेटर्स। बट या जब आप लोगों ने जो अपना उसको क्या बोलेंगे, द परसेप्शन, ओके, द परसेप्शन
यस
हो
मैम।
गया, या आपकी सोच उस टाइम पे जो काम करी है, मतलब वो बहुत ही प्रशंसनीय है। आई थिंक माई हिंदी इज बेटर नाउ जो आप लोगों को समझ में आएगी। हैदराबाद में रह के थोड़ा उर्दू का इन्फ्लुएंस भी आ गया है। तो सच्ची वो बहुत प्रशंसा के लायक है, प्रशंसा पूर्वक है आपकी जो सोच थी उस टाइम पे, जो आपने मतलब अपना सही सदुपयोग किया है। उसके लिए आपके लिए मैं क्या, मतलब मेरे पास शब्द नहीं है बोलने के लिए। बट या वो उस टाइम पे जो आपने किया था बेटा, वो दैट इज व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड नाउ। अभी आगे चल के, जैसे अभी आप यूट्यूब में हम सब लोगों को देख रहे हैं, या आपके दोस्त हम लोगों को देख रहे हैं, आपकी परिभाषा समझ रहे हैं जो आप ऑनलाइन क्लासेस के बारे में जो बता रहे हैं, उसी तरह धीरे धीरे चल के the teaching level would become a one step higher. It is taking one step higher, and that is what is the need of the hour. यही हम अपने आने वाली पीढ़ी, जो आप यूथ हैं, वो हम उनसे यही चाहते हैं। दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट। अगर ये आप में खुद ब खुद डेवलप हो जाता है तो उससे बढ़िया क्या बात हो सकती है। हाँ, रही
Thank you.
बात कुछ क्वेश्चनों की, जैसे जो आपको सच्ची थोड़े डिफिकल्ट थे, हाँ वो गलती हम लोगों से भी हो गई थी। बट सोच तो सोच है ना बेटा। हम आपको
यस
किसी
मैम।
और स्तर पे लेके जाना चाहते हैं, और आप अगर उसी स्तर में रहना चाहेंगे तो वो कैसा रहेगा।
Thank you, Deepika ma'am. That was so nice of you to say the views about Amit. Thank you so much. And now I would like to call upon Push Chaudhary, student of class 12. He is interested in artificial intelligence. He builds bots which work on programs just like Javas. He desires to become a data scientist. Of course, one day he will surely become. I have seen the way he behaves in the class and the things that he makes. He is a director of our school Interact Club. So, welcome, Push Chaudhary. Give me your views regarding this forum.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to the panelists, my dear friends, and the audience. I am Pushp Chaudhary, a student of class 12. First of all, I would like to thank Mala ma'am, Deepika ma'am, Kirti ma'am, and AIEF group who will give me this wonderful opportunity to share my opinions on changes brought by online education system. And now the changes that I felt that online education brought in students' life are that in this new world of online education, almost every student tackle a lots of challenges in which according to me the biggest challenge is to manage time, as while studying from home or from wherever there can be more distractions than usual, especially with family and younger siblings. So I think we can figure out this challenge by try to build a schedule by which we can simultaneously balance our time for both study as well as for enjoying. And also I think we should share that schedule uh, with the other people of our house so that they can guide us and also cooperate with us. So now if I talk about the term and examination, as I am a student of PCM and I also tackle these exams, so I can say that specifically for physics and mathematics, their difficulty level was actually moderate, but these exams were very lengthy and some questions are very tricky, because of which I think the time given to us for the completion of these exams are less than what these exam deserves to have. And I also think that the number of conceptual and theoretical questions must increase, so that it become more easy for students to perform well in exams. So these are my views. Thank you.
Kirti ma'am, kindly give some words for Pushp Chaudhary.
Yeah, he has expressed himself very well, and these students are really able to adapt to the new and challenging patterns, and they are, I think, they are ready to take up this kind of pattern. These kind of patterns, actually, the OMR based and this kind of studies prepare them for the college and the international exams, the competitive exams that they will have to face in the new job oriented market. So I think we are preparing them for the market.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Pushp Chaudhary. Now we have Himavant. We have another, he's a younger participant in the whole lot. He, and
We have other
Himavant
also. Ayushi is
Kanuri,
also
a
younger
student
one.
of class 10. He's a karate champion and he has bagged several awards and he aspires to be a cardiologist. And what is it going to do with karate and cardiologist? Only Himavant is going to tell us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Himavant.
Good evening, respected panelists. My name is Hemant. And before I begin, I would just like to take a moment to thank Deepika ma'am, Mala ma'am, and Kirti ma'am for giving me this opportunity to present my views on the given topic. So, the COVID 19 pandemic brought a dynamic change in the world education system. The imposition of lockdown also started online classes, and online classes soon became the norm. And pretty soon it also became the choice of the students in the beginning. Uh, the classes can be accessed from anywhere. It's time flexible, and even if the student doesn't attend the class, he can always listen to a recording of the class. But that doesn't mean that people liked it for a long time. After a certain period of time, people started getting bored with the online classes. People started missing the original offline classes, meeting their friends every day. And even in online classes, a student cannot focus 100% in the classes. There are always distractions, that and the student tends to get distracted. But in the school, the student is always focused on studies. The teacher also can monitor the students in offline classes. And so yeah, on offline classes started to be missed a lot. Now, communication collaboration is also best in offline classes. You sit with your friends, and like usually in group activities you make a team, and the team spirit is also high. In online classes you cannot do anything of that sort. If we talk about the 2021 board pattern, the OMR pattern was new to everyone. And also, all the questions that were given, they were a lot lengthy, almost like the normal questions given before 2021, and the time given was not sufficient. And I would say that CBSE gave hard questions this time, especially in language subjects like English and Hindi, where two options were either similar or same, and students had to find out which carried more weight. And even the most hardest part was the unseen passages. They were really lengthy, and the questions were really hard to answer. So CBSE has given a really hard paper this year. These type of questions you would normally see in the normal type of pen and paper type of question, just exams. And so, in the normal type of exams, even though if you don't know the answer, you could at least write an introduction about the topic given, or some information about the topic given in the question, and you could at least get 2 or 3, maybe out of 5 marks. But in these OMR pattern question papers, you only have one answer, and it's either wrong or right. You cannot get any marks in between. So those are my views on the given topics. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Himavan.
Kirti ma'am.
That was very nicely put up, all the points and the problems that you have faced. I would like to say there are always two sides of a coin. There is always a plus point and a minus point, and that is the point is that how we look at it. And the second term exams are subjective only. The CBSE has chosen to take your you to make CBSE has chosen to make you a subject matter expert, that you thoroughly study your books in term one, and then you can give your expressions and writing skills in the term two. So both ways your creativity would be and your knowledge would be checked by CBSE. People are smarter there who are checking your knowledge.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Next, I
Thank
invite Lakshmi Shiraja, student of class 11, is a budding author, and her first story is published in Kikli magazine. She also bagged an appreciation gold certificate for Queen's Royal Essay Writing Competition. Apart from being an author, she holds first degree black belt in karate, all karate championships from Hyderabad. And it is interested to see her career oriented, this one, like she wishes to pursue in law in her next future. Over to you, Shiraja.
Thank you, ma'am. Firstly, I'd like to thank Deepika ma'am, Mala ma'am, and Kirti ma'am for giving me this opportunity, and also AIEF as well. So when we all talk about online classes, we talk about how we were able to cope up during this pandemic, as there was a huge stretch of holidays that we got, and then the classes stopped for some time. So online classes could really help us with continuing our classes. And in the beginning, it was quite fine. It was a new mode, so it was quite interesting. And it also gave us a lot of spare time, so we could spend our time learning more and revisiting our topics taught for the day and practicing more and all of that. But then later on, as time went by, we started taking it for granted because it is online. We're learning through a screen. There are a lot many things we can do apart from going to classes and learning. There could be several tabs aside our class tab, our teaching side, and then we could actually watch at the same time simultaneously, do a lot. So that would actually remove our focus from concentrating in the class at that moment. So that is one of the disadvantages. And also learning online, it would, being on screen for so long, we could actually have a lot of strain in our eyes. There could be a lot of strain while watching it. We could have a lot of headaches and a lot of health related issues basically. That's one thing I didn't like about studying online. And it also made us miss our friends, because we need to admit, staying at home for so long, it definitely didn't feel right, as we missed talking to our friends, we missed all the memories that we made, we missed going to school. So apart from all this, Going offline, I prefer going offline much better as we get to meet our friends. And also, along with that, we have a teacher right in front of us. So it's like a direct interaction rather than learning through a screen. And it also helps us concentrate and it also helps us generate our interest. So that's one thing I like about going offline. And apart from that, going offline, it's like we have some physical activity. We are walking to school, we are walking back to home. So that's one great thing. And talking about the examination, it was a sudden change from, it was a switch from theory to MCQ based questions. So that was quite sudden. It was quite surprising, and most of us thought it would be easy as they are MCQs, but we were proved wrong. So what we thought was, since it would be easy, we would just learn the theory part, and then as we learn the theory part, we could actually do it pretty well, the MCQs part. But it didn't happen that way. But it's okay, we can learn from our experiences. And actually, one advantage about MCQs is that as there is a given time limit, and then there are certain amount of questions that we need to solve, we can actually finish them and then recorrect our answers if there is something wrong, and we can also recheck. And also, the thing with our examinations this time is that, not just this time, most of the times when it comes to physics and mathematics, is that most of the questions are really focused on the numericals part. So what I actually thought was, because when we start a chapter in either physics, math, or any other subject, we usually started with the theory. So if there could also be enough weightage in the theory part along with the numericals part, then it would help us in remembering all that we could learn, and it could also help us for our future purposes if we were to write JEE or NEET examinations. Those are my views about this. Thank you.
Well said, Shiraja. Really, the points were to the mark. Whatever you said, the answers were in front of you. MCQ में all the 4 answers are given in front of you. Even then, students were finding it very difficult. So, Kirti ma'am, can you give your views regarding Shiraja?
Yes, ma'am. I think she has talked about the problems health-wise that the students face, and that is really the area of concern. And as a computer teacher, I think you should give some tips to the students. And I would also like to say that they should do deep breathing and to keep their mind calm, and they should walk. Get up from the chair every 20 minutes or 30 minutes and take a walk around.
Yes.
Students that we have in our panel today are really very talented. They have so many achievements. They have they do play outside also. They are karate champions, and I would say that they should keep pursuing playing outdoors and indoor games, and physical exercise is a must. Sitting on computer obviously for long hours obviously creates a problem, so they should keep washing their eyes every quite often. And I think if you have any other tips, you also please give to the students. Being a computer teacher, I request you.
Yeah, I do have some of the tips, but after the students speak, I mean, I will take the privilege to say some of the tips. And
Yeah,
Shiraja,
okay.
thank you so much, and all the best for your future to become a lawyer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And next we have Arav. Arav Majumdar. He's a student of class 11. He loves coding and has made many bots like Jarvis, which works on face recognition technology and data science. I'm so proud to have him as my student, because whatever work is being given, he has an extraordinary way of presenting it. Either it is Canva or the PowerPoint presentations with the 3D outlook, fantabulous presentations he makes. He also creates stories, and like he also makes educational videos also. So all the best, Arav. Kindly give your views.
So, hello everyone. As ma'am introduced, I am a student of Science stream, class 11th, Guru Har Krishan Public School, GK1, New Delhi. Glad to have an opportunity for to be a part of this wonderful panel discussion. So now I'm going to share an opinion on online classes. My opinion on classes is that it is the only alternative left with the students to continue with their studies in this crucial time of COVID-19, which has changed the entire lifestyle of every human being in this past 2 years. Thanks to technology, which has bring together everyone and is a blessing to everybody that we can get an access to our studies through an online mode without any hindrance by sitting at home. The student can get an easy access to their classrooms instantly by logging into through internet from their home or anywhere they are stationed by a single click. Like I myself did my classes while traveling in a cab and in a metro. It also cuts down travel time to school, which enables the students like us to utilize the time saved in learning some other important things. Again, online, like I did in learning in Google Analytics, young business entrepreneurship, coding, building websites and softwares, making videos, and also preparing for my NEET classes, which perhaps was not possible in this offline mode. But there are pros and cons to everything. So do have online mode of education too, as here we cannot have the access with the direct link to teachers and our classmates. It has affected our communication skills in the public domain. There is also lack of physical there is also lack of discipline and lack of concentration in the absence of direct interaction with the teachers. We have also lost physical activity by attending the online mode of classes. We feel more tired during the online classes as there is more strain to our eyes, being a shorter view in comparison to physical classes. But as I mentioned earlier, online mode is a suitable way of learning, being flexible or mobile, that we can get it access it anytime, anywhere from corner of the globe. Like another instance, I want to share that one of my friend very recently, while attending a family wedding in London and US, appeared for his first term's exams, which held online. Hence, it proves that this introductory type of learning has made the life easier of the students, that they can have an access to education and also do other things of their choice at the same time. Thank you for making me a part of this wonderful panel discussion. Thank you.
Deepika, ma'am.
Yes, Mala ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. What did you infer from the way he has given certain views regarding online education and offline education?
First of all, I would like to appreciate Araf. Araf wonderfully articulated, beta. The thing is, ma'am, this generation is all sorted out. You know, we don't have to tell them. The only thing they feel is there is because now we have taken the system to one step higher, and there is a little slight change in their education system or a pattern of teaching. That is where they find difficulty, but it is an initial stage. Trust me, next year these students will teach us, and I can vouch for it. Don't you think, Arav? And Arav, being with such an entrepreneurial skills, Arav, I don't know, I should start learning from you. Maybe this generation Z itself gives me goosebumps. You are my highest competitors, beta.
No, ma'am. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, ma'am.
Same here, huh? Same here. I actually take learning from you all.
And I would like to just tell a note, like during the online classes, what one or two students, what they used to do is they used to make they used to frame a program so that they are physically, as though it has been the teacher will feel their presence, but actually it is a program which was made by them, and they used to say we were not in the picture. The program was such that it showed that they were in the online classes, but literally they were not.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Would love to come and join these kind of sessions. Actually, it's a learning for us also.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, Arav. And the next speaker, Chandransh Dasri of class 11, an ardent nature lover and is a nominated youth ambassador for his school. His passion is to play guitar and he's an amazing singer. Like to hear from you after. He desires to become a bioscientist and contribute towards helping and saving the planet. That's so nice of you. Over to you, Chandransh.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, first of all, good evening to all the panelists and friends present here with me. So, first off, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Deepika ma'am, Kirti ma'am, and Mala ma'am for this opportunity. So, first, let's stop for a minute and think about this particular decade, 2010 to 2021. So, what all changes came through? What new things we came across, and what improvements came in technology and stuff? Mind boggling, isn't it? But still, something is bothering us, something strange, something different about the last 2 years of this decade, right now that we are going through specifically. So, as we all know, 2020 and 2021 are definitely the most shocking, if not completely unexpected times of our lives. So, not only did we experience changes in our daily lives and routines, but also in the educational sector. So, in my ninth class, when I finished my exams, my teacher was like, what if we actually had classes from our own homes with our own devices and, just chilling and doing things stress free without any issues? And then, bam, it just actually happens, except the stress free and the without any issues part, because that is definitely there. Lots of stress and lots of issues are there right now. So I bet Google and Microsoft, they crossed like over 1 million daily users within this few months of online classes. And right now, Bill Gates and Sundar Pichai, wow, they just actually siphoned off millions of dollars from this, buying new devices and such for the online classes. So speaking of this COVID situation generally, for extroverts like me, I can say without thinking twice, to be honest, that this online way of communication is probably the worst and the last thing one could possibly want, between your teachers or your friends. I mean, come on. Who doesn't miss those days where we come to school, we crack jokes, we see your friends, classmates, teachers, you ask your teacher's doubts, and the teacher, he also has fun in the class. You talk together. Basically, we connect with each other, in person. But now, we have to send good morning messages, and teachers have to beg us, please come, join the class, put on your camera, unmute, talk. They have been begging us. Before in offline classes, teachers don't do that. But now teachers are doing just the opposite. Imagine getting WhatsApp forwards and good morning messages from families and stuff. Now, don't tell me no one got bugged, because come on. Well, we all know the devotional overflow and inspirational quotes that we got from them. And it doesn't stop, to be honest, especially for us students. I can say on behalf of everyone, we have got many messages from our family saying, do this, do that, be like this, learn from him. And yeah, so, but let's talk about the real thing. The major hit was on the syllabus and exam patterns. So imagine getting 30% of our subject syllabus like literally deleted. It's like getting a 30% discount, without even bargaining for it. So I don't know about toppers and other people, but backbenchers, I can say without doubt, they fell in love with that idea. Because they believe lesser the work, more the fun. And some people live for fun. As for those aspiring, to compete in JEE or NEET exams, this updated news is like actually the current market situation, just plummeted down, because they need every single bit of concept, to compete in this competitive exams. They need every single part of the concept. They, if you remove just 30% of the syllabus, it's like 30% of the marks that you could secure if you studied will just be removed. You won't have any chance to do it. And plus, those people have to go and join courses. They need to join institution where they need to take the course like Akash and stuff, and then they have to catch up from the school too. So it's like a double headache, for them. Why not just immediately just start and finish it once and for all from the school? Why 70% here, 30% there, 100% again from here? It's just a bit of too much work for us students too. They would be devastated, to be honest, because of this. So half knowledge is dangerous, because if they compete in these exams without knowing 100% of the syllabus, they are not going to get the seat. It's not going to be very easy at all. Okay, so now let's talk about this updated MCQ pattern that was implemented. So as for me, I don't think it's new because I've attempted, Olympiads from SOF, IEO, NSO, etc. So I know how things are actually going on because 60 questions, right? And I've attempted all of them in MCQ pattern. So it's not new to me. But people who haven't gone through this actually, they are struggling because of this, because it's never been done before, and it started because of this COVID situation. So, well, let's talk about some of the benefits and, the wrong parts of it, or the bad parts of it, sorry. So a few of the benefits of MCQs is that we are prepping for competitive exams. So JEE NEET, if you see, it's maximum MCQs. It's not descriptive, to be honest. So actually you are getting practice from this. You are getting the practice to actually, do these kind of MCQ questions. So in the future, it's actually very helpful for you. So when you attempt the JEE and NEET exam, it's like you've already done it before in your 11th and 12th. So it's like you have to just redo it. It's not it's not a big issue. And also, while you solve the problems like a physics numerical or anything, if you take and you get a particular value, now 4 options are given with the MCQ question, right? So you can just compare, with this value and the given value. So which of them is actually closest to the one you've got? If you mark it correct, there is high probability that it could be the correct answer, because since you've done all the part correctly, calculations could, there could be a mistake. So if you just check it and if you see which one has the closest value and tick it, there is actually 95% chance that it's actually correct. And also, it saves time compared to the descriptive answers, because descriptive answers, you need to keep writing, you have to keep calling out extra sheet. It's going to be a big headache, and it's going to be a lot of tension for the people around you. You're just screaming for extra sheet. The students are going to get tensed. And okay, just leaving that aside, it saves time compared to the descriptive answers. So you actually get time to recheck your answers and, get it. And what do you say? While you recheck your answers, you can actually correct the answers which you haven't gotten correct. If you have realized that, okay, I've done this question wrong, you can again remove it and remark it as the correct answer. So actually you are saving yourself some marks. And also, I don't think many people observe this, but the online way of MCQs, no paper. You just don't need paper to, answer the questions. So actually, that saves the environment and trees. It's what better way to be eco-friendly, from our side at least. Students use a lot of paper. I mean, don't get me wrong, they want to get good marks. I understand, but save trees. Every now and then you need to do the best you can. And also less prepping time for the exams. So MCQs don't take that long to do. Descriptive answers need diagrams. You need to practice paragraphs and paragraphs, how to actually explain the concept properly. You need to practice it a lot in descriptive questions. But for MCQs, you just need to mark the correct one. So I don't think there is much prepping time required for it, or practice time, let's say. Now, let's look on the other side too, because MCQs can't be always rainbows and sunshine. You have to have some bad days. So for descriptive questions, it actually gives the opportunity to demonstrate what the student knows about the concept. So he knows something, he can write it the way he wants to show it. The teacher can actually see what the student actually understood from the concept. If there is a particular buoyancy, let's say in physics. So if a person, 2 people won't have the same views on it, right? They will have different ways of explaining it. So the teacher can see what exactly the student understood from learning learning in the classes, what how much attention he paid in the classes, the teacher can actually observe, and he can help the students where he or she needs help. And also there is scope for gaining more marks. So for example, you have your physics problems and you solve it, you get the answer wrong, just the calculation part you went wrong, formulas you got correct, steps you got correct, and you got the answer wrong. You tick it in the MCQs. Do you think the teacher is going to see? He's going to ask like, hey, get your rough sheet, I want to see how you did it. No, it's take it or lose it. You're going to lose the mark completely. And but for this descriptive answers, I'm sure teachers are considerate. You people are very nice and considerate to us students. So you will check every single step, you will check and you will correct it, and you will give the marks for the form, getting the formula right, getting the steps right. Obviously, it'll be understandable if you remove the marks for the calculation part. But if it was out of 5 marks, at least 4.5 is secured, right? It's not like you've completely lost all the 5 marks. So actually there is scope for gaining more marks in that. Because also numericals carry a very heavy weightage in the exams. It actually saves your percentile. And also it gives practice to, it gives opportunity to practice comprehensive skills related to the particular subject. In English, especially if you want to write a letter, it actually gives you practice to do it. You can't just, get a ready-made paper, just fill in good morning and good night and then signature and send it. No, you have to practice it on yourself, by yourself, and write it with your hand, and then you should know where to give the respect, how to present your points and everything. It actually gives you that practice. Now, if you ask me which is better, offline and online, I'd say both have their ups and downs. Online has its own ups and downs, offline has its own ups and downs. But if you look at how students exactly feel, I think 95% of us agree offline is way better. We learn the concepts properly, there is no distraction, teachers can interact with us, we know what all doubts to ask, and that's just the best thing. Interaction with the teachers, so changed our lives, a lot, for the worse, not even for the better. And also it's going to get worse as we move on. So let's just hope that we see the end of the situation, because I don't know about others, but when I grow up and if someone asks me how are your school days, I don't want to say I spent it in front of a 13-inch screen and my bedroom, it was perfect life. No, I don't want to say that. I want to say that I enjoyed, I understood the concepts, I've learned properly, I've interacted with teachers, and I want to say everything else that comes with me. And as for my juniors, I think you guys have a big storm ahead of you. As far as COVID has affected late in our academic, yeah, what do you say, academic course, because 11th and 12th is like the end of the primary and secondary. So it's not big deal. But for you all, it's going to start from midway. So it's like just the beginning of your academic year and you have to get adapted to such things. So it's just the beginning for you all. You need to ask yourself, can you cope up with the new style of teaching? Can you adapt to it? Can you be completely honest with your answers? Can you answer your teachers? Can you be attentive? Will you not be distracted? Can you handle the sudden changes and switches of the exam pattern and teaching type? I think these are some questions to actually ponder. Thank you.
Wow, Chandransh, that was really awesome. These were your honest views, and as I have already said, that the students are missing the human connect. They want their teachers to be present in front of them, being authoritative, and they just don't want to sit in front of screens. And the way he said online classes are just worst, and then he talked about the millions people are making due to the online classes. There, I would say that with every situation, those who find the opportunities always lead to success. There are people who are finding success in these scenarios also, and he has already talked so much positive about the OMR pattern. So I don't think we are dealing with the generation Z now. They are all superb.
I would like to also quote in our times, like what you like to become in your future? We had only 3 or 4 options, either a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or a teacher. But now, as the students were speaking and their interests are so overwhelming. Like, look at the streams that they are choosing. One wants to become a bioscientist, one wants to become a data analyst, a data scientist, cardiologist, CA, quantum engineer. So, the last but not the least, the person who's going to give us his views, his name is Shikhar Deshmukh, and he would love to become a quantum engineer, and he is in class 10. He's a junior, and he loves to observe and explore his career interests between being an IAS or as a quantum engineer. So, welcome, Shikhar. Would like to hear from
Thank
you.
you, ma'am. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Good evening, panelists, my dear brothers. So, as we know, first let's talk about everything which has gone in the decades. As we know that we have been facing a lot of problems like pandemic, the corona, and the nowadays the Omicron is also going to come. So, according to that, if we see, so we can get to know some new points to even worry that how is our next generation going to read about it? How my generation is going to read about it? And how is that my older generation means the college students or the person who are doing PhD, how are they gonna leave it? So the main thing, according to me, which is going on nowadays also, like students' opinion on the hybrid and blending learning, which directly means that how does the student feels on the online and the offline classes? Mostly when I asked from my friends how do they feel, so they were like, sorry, we don't want to be in the online classes, we always want to be the part of the offline classes. When I asked them why, what's the problem with that, so they were used to say that the doubts which we can ask directly to our teacher in a class, the fun which we can do with him, the kind of the important knowledge which a teacher give us, like as someone has told me that the teachers are the tree of knowledge. So according to that, on that basis, I think so that without teachers, a student life is nothing. Without teacher, a student can't do anything. And if he also want to try it himself, he can just try at least up to just 50%. But what about the left in 50%? That 50% can be only completed just because of a teacher, and an online method that's not possible for anyone, because to make them complete directly and going on in a very frequent way, that's not a easy way. Means if you are trying to get online classes, sometimes you have the server problem, sometimes you're not able to join the meet links, sometimes you're not able to even get the proper passcodes. So that can even lead to a very great kinds of missing of classes, and your attendance ratio could also get down. So on that basis, if we see, so my friends always prefer the offline mode, and starting they were also like, yes, we got the holiday and now we're gonna have some great funs, we'll watch all times on Netflix and we'll have to chill. So after that, when they were going like this, after 1 month I called them, they called me, we were just talking on that thing, and the other time just we were like, what happened to you, how is your class going on? So they were like, now we don't want this, we just want to be in the offline mode, we don't want the online mode. This is like a huge burden for us, because in my one friend, in his family there are two childs, okay, one he and one his brother. So in their home there is only one phone which is used by their father. So now what they will do, they are having a lot of problem, because at this time they have been facing like many problems, like which phone they have to, and the most biggest coincidence is that their both class timing is same, 9 to 10 both timing. So how they both are gonna take, and his father is not a very he doesn't earn much per month, but still he tries to afford them. He had bought on the kind of EMI, and still he pays it. So you can understand through this that it's not a very good deal, and for everyone, economically, physically, and socially, it is just disrupting all, because we have lost the all social connection. We have lost all kinds of physical exercises which we were used to do in the school, we are used to play. So that's not a good thing. And my opinion on the heavy weightage given the some kinds of, what you can say, like to me, numerical subjects in physics, okay. So as you can see, in the numerical subjects like physics and maths, so that was not the much deal, as I'm in the 10th, so I'm having the science and the maths. So in the maths, if I look a way too forward, so I can see the main thing which has not gone so well. And the maths, they had put it a very deep thing, means the online and the MCQ pattern was best. I will never say that it was the worst, it was the best thing which I've ever seen in the whole CBSE career. I think so it was the first time that they had done this kind of thing. They have provided the term ones, and even by that the MCQ pattern. It is helpful because in the JE, NEET, some kinds of papers, or you can say Olympiad, there are only kinds of this kinds of question like MCQ based, majorly MCQ based. So what are you gonna think about that? So at that basis, the heavy weightage was not much proper. Means in the math, the student which we were trying to understand, means as we were thinking that trigonometry will come, but not a heavy weightage came of that. But of the chapter, we were not even able to think that chapter came had the highest weightage. Examples like the triangles had the highest weightage. And on the conceptual basis, uh, see, the main concept is that in English, Hindi, maths, science, SSC, whatever the subject is, that's the MCQ pattern is only best for those students who have scored in their ninth and eighth above 90 or above 80. Majorly who have scored above 85, I will say above 85 who have scored, they can only get to know in this paper, and they can be like a very deep. The paper is not on like a surface, they have to get to the deep web type of. So in that thing you can understand that how difficult it was. So but the below 85, they were not even able to get the 33%, that the paper was way too hard. In my even classes during that my term one exams, my friends were used to ask me question that how are you doing this, how you can do this, means please tell us some way how we can do. So on the time I was feeling like, in the starting I was also feeling like MCQ pattern is very best, but when I saw the question I get to know no, it was not the thing which I was and we were expecting. But still, whatever you say, it's always best. Something happens for the good, not for any time bad. Okay, so an assumption reason. See, these both are the only topic which had nearly disrupted my marks badly. Why? Because in the assertion reason, it was a way too impossible for me. Not a way too impossible, I will say it was a way too tough for me that I would easily get into that how I can understand through this. Means in many subjects I did well, but in the English it was a very confusing and very much detailed. So that was a very the subject. Then high order thinking skill question. That question only made for the students who had scored nearly 90 above in their ninth. Nearly 90 above in their ninth or 88 above in their ninth. Only those students can do the HOTS question. Otherwise, whatever you think, it's not always. Okay, but if you see at the positive way, the government has been providing us many more ways. Like if I say in the UP, so UP government has been providing students laptops. But in the Delhi, that's a very different thing, that Delhi has provided some kinds of free nets at a few places, not at mine, but at a few places they have provided the free net. But if you still look into that, so the government is trying to make us educated more and more, because they know the 1 year had wasted the completely. So even on kind of social media, a kind of meme was even popular that the 10th and the 12th, especially 12th student of the, you can say of 2022 sorry 2020 and 2021, they are not applicable for any kind of job in the HDFC bank or IIC. I don't remember, but that was the thing which hurted me. I know it was just a joke, but still you can understand how badly it hurt to them. So in this way I was trying to just convey that how are they trying to do it, how are they gonna do it. So at that time the government has launched many online programs, many examples. The Fit India quiz also they had done, which is still going on, and to just increase our knowledge. So at that time if you see that any situation has never stopped the education, any situation cannot stop the education, and any situation will not be able to stop the education, because education is the only thing which has been rising day by day. And in the service sector we all know that it is the most applicable thing which is needed in IT sector, in whatever sector you want to go, in quantum physics, in the quantum physics and the quantum realms, in the quantum equations and the quantum mathematics, in the in kinds of maths and kinds of IE sectors and IES, IPS, whatever exam you're getting. The main point is that you have to study. Why do we think so that during the corona pandemic, if an exam would have happened, so how it would happen? Yes, if that has happened, so it would given us a very great knowledge of how you can conceive their memories by just easily looking. The MCQ pattern is a way deep means during the subjective we know that just we have to write out the marks and we will get half marks, but in this MCQ pattern we don't even stand a single chance for that we will get half marks, but no, we will just get the 1 mark single. We will get 0 or we will get the 1, the completion of this in this. Then after that if I look forward, so I had got some many problems also. I had prepared nearly 1300. I just wasted my pages. I didn't waste it, means I just took 1300 pages and I printed on them on the MCQ set. So you can understand I did the practices, still I'm having a little bit confusion. So you can understand the student who had just read normally, or just they have seen the books like this. So what you will say about them, what you are gonna say about. So the main thing is the situation, whatever the situation is, whatever the education has never stopped, and it will be ever going on. At this,
Uh,
as we can say, this is the not new thing. This is a very old thing. This is not a new thing. This is a very old thing. The B.R. Ambedkar, the world, you can say the world most educated person, even also, I would like to say him, the world most educated person also. He had also faced these kinds of problems. Not the pandemic, but that was a kind of, you can say, the surroundings. He fought his environment, fought his surrounding, and still went at the top and became the world's smartest person. Actually, in India, he was the most smartest person ever known, according to me. So as you can say, so at the time he just said some few words. He said a few words um, that मरने से पहले एक काम कर जाना, पढ़ने लायक कुछ लिख जाना या फिर लिखने लायक कुछ कर जाना. So at the time, the main concept was that whatever the situation is, the education has never stopped in any case. So I would like to give my juniors just one thing, that whatever the situation, just do practicing on and just read everything whatever you can. Because the CBSE has no problem with you, but just they want to increase your knowledge and make you more comfortable to any kind of exams, whether it's J, whether it's NEET, whatever you want to take, you will be all given in just a single thing. Thank you so much.
Shikhar, before you could leave, it was a very nice insight that you had given. I would like to ask you a question. As you already said in your speech, do you think that the OMR pattern of examination is relevant for checking your knowledge and the conceptual understanding? As you said, CBSE has done a very good job. They have introduced all these stuff. But do you think it is there for checking your knowledge and for your conceptual understanding? What are your feedbacks of this?
Ma'am, my feedback on this is that CBSE has given us kind of Irma for just not checking our knowledge. It has given us to checking our understanding, that how we perform to any kind of situation. They are making us relevant, that how you can face any kind of situation, whether it is related to you or not related to you. It is giving us life lessons also, that you should even compatible to everything which you see in your way. Means they want to say us that don't focus on the obstacles, focus ever on your goals. Just focus on your goals. Don't ever focus on your obstacles.
And
Thank you,
what
ma'am.
type of classes do you prefer? Shikhar, would you like to have an online class? Would you like a yes for online class or yes for an offline class?
Ma'am, I would like to have a yes for offline classes.
And
Ma'am,
what about
because
you,
in the
Ara?
offline,
Oh, sorry. You can continue. Continue.
okay, ma'am. Ma'am, because in the offline classes, I can have the doubt conversation with my teachers. Not me, even anyone else want to consider. So they can just have a direct meeting with them. Okay. And also, the main reason for the online classes is that this situation, if this was not so, still we were having an offline class. And according to me, the offline methods are way better, because in that we meet our friends, we does discussion, and in online we are not having a single chance. We doesn't stand a single chance to just even have a discussion with our friends about the topic which just has been taught. We are just taken the class, the teacher is gone, and the meeting is over. So that doesn't mean that we can't even contact with each other, and even we can't just discuss with our teacher some kinds of extra knowledge if we want to gain. So we are not able to that. So what we are, and if in the online classes, that sometimes in my school it has happened that we are given to speak on a topic. So in the class, as you understand that in a class there are few students who encourages a student that yes, you can speak. But in online classes, if you will speak, so he even doesn't feel bad. He will feel ever like I can't, because at the home it could be his fun, at anywhere it could be his fun. So that's the main matter why I prefer the offline methods of classes.
That was so nice of you, Shikhar, to give all these replies for each and everything that I had asked. And all the best for your future for becoming an IAS or a quantum engineer. And I would like to ask Deepika ma'am to give her views regarding you.
Oh my God, what to say? Shikhar, you're mind-boggling. I mean, your views are mind-boggling. I really admire this generation. Somewhere, wish we had this kind of ideas and the presentation of views. We were not this confident. Trust me on this. Maybe we learned it because that was the need of the hour, and we had to be presentable, we have to be employable. But with you, this generation is totally different. They already know their ideas, their mindset, and Shikhar has actually nailed it. I mean, whatever. I was actually waiting for somebody to tell, there was some positivity in OMR sheets, and which I found it in Chandran's as well as in Shikhar. And I really appreciate that you people have taken the flip side of the coin, thinking that this OMR is just the beginning. Okay, life is always a test, and it is just the beginning of it. So you
Thank you, ma'am.
can't
Thank
say
you so
that
much.
it's all.
Thank you. Yes, over to you, Kirti ma'am.
यस मैम, आई वुड से कि हम वो एक ऐड देखते थे ना अभिषेक बच्चन की, जिसमें एन आइडिया कैन चेंज लाइफ, जिसमें वो बच्चे स्कूल नहीं जा पाते थे तो वो बताते थे स्कूल आ गया, एक कंप्यूटर पे ऑन करते थे स्कूल आ गया। वो ऐड आई थिंक 2008 समथिंग में आई थी। वो इतने साल पहले उन्होंने जो आइडिया दिया था वो आज इस टाइम पे पॉसिबल हो रहा है। तो वही जो मैंने शुरुआत की थी कि हम वो सब सोच सकते हैं जो हमने कभी नहीं सोचा, जो उस टाइम सोचा गया था वो आज की सिचुएशन में कितना रेलिवेंट हो गया है। और आज भी जैसे हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर कहते हैं कि मेक इन इंडिया करो, और हमारी जो दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट में एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करिकुलम चलाया जा रहा है, जिसमें कि हम सबको जो है मार्केट में लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, अपने यहाँ पर मार्केट डेवलप करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो उसमें जहाँ पर जो लोग, और जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है उस वो क्या कर रही है कि जो लोग स्कूल नहीं जा पा रहे हैं या कॉलेज में अपनी स्टडीज पूरी नहीं कर पाए हैं, वो ऑनलाइन मोड्स के थ्रू या फिर जो क्रेडिट सिस्टम के थ्रू अपनी पूरी कर पाए, कभी भी छोड़ा तो वो कंटिन्यू कर पाए। तो वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स आवर फ्यूचर वेयर वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक एवरीथिंग पॉसिबल, जो चीजें हम छोड़ आए वो पूरी कर सके। यही अब यहाँ पर पैंडेमिक में जो सिचुएशन आई, वो सीबीएसई ने कितनी फास्टली एक नया सॉल्यूशन निकाल लिया बच्चों के लिए, एकेडमिक्स भी सफर ना करें और सब कुछ पॉसिबल हो जाए। आई थिंक हैट्स ऑफ टू एवरीवन, दोज सीनियर्स हु आर टेकिंग बिग डिसीजंस आउट देयर।
Digital India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we are ahead of time, and I would request Deepika ma'am to conclude the session now.
Now, before I conclude, I would like Mala ma'am to give some tips, ma'am. Just
All
Yeah,
right.
Mala
some
ma'am.
tips, and then I'll conclude. Okay, ma'am?
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. So, from my side, I would like to give you certain tips for children who are going to appear for the term 2 examinations. So, you should know that your term 2 examinations will be conducted for 2 hours, and the questions that will be asked will be open-ended, case-based, situation-based, short and long answer type questions. After term 1, students do not have much practice to write the answers. But as term 2 will be descriptive, students need to increase their writing speed to complete the exam on time. So start your preparation early, because when you start your study plan or pattern from the beginning of term 2 itself, the concepts will be easy to understand and you will get time to revise. First of all, the first and foremost thing is you should know your syllabus. Attend your online classes regularly. Understand the concept before your class starts. Go through that particular chapter beforehand so that when it is explained by your teacher, the understanding becomes crystal clear. The next point is always start with easy chapters. Answer writing. Writing practice should be started as you start preparing for your term 2. Focus on assertion, that is the reason based questions. Conceptual clarity is a must, especially for subjects like physics, chemistry, and maths. And my humble request is each and every day solve at least 5 to 10 questions daily. Study smart. So each and every teacher would like to say study smart. But what is study smart? It is nothing but proper planning. Study with the proper planning. Do your assignments and homework then and there. Do not create a backlog. And the most important is do not pressurize yourself. Once if you do not create a backlog, you are not pressurized because you are completing all the work well said on time. Make notes, mind maps, drawings, flow charts, flashcards. All these will help you in making your subject learning easier. Avoid procrastination. What is procrastination? It is nothing but laziness. That is the biggest threat for your success. Learn time management and take enough breaks and stay calm. After every 1 or 2 hours of study, take at least 10 to 15 minutes break. Listen to some good music, or whatever you feel like you want to cook for some time. Okay, do it. Make a tea. Okay, and you improve the. What happens is when you take a 10 to 15 minutes break, your mind gets relaxed. You are not fatigued anymore, and you still have the efficiency to study more. Stay focused and say no to a difficult task, social media, smartphones, and stay away from distraction. Avoid late night study also. And being a computer science teacher, I would like to emphasize that the majority of the questions will be based on programming. So have a clear understanding of the programming part. And for English, how can you improve your vocabulary? Read newspapers daily, read books, practice grammar, and know the basic rules. That will help you to answer your English in a much better way, and you will not have that shyness to express yourself. For physics, prepare a list of derivations, formulas, understand the logic behind the derivation rather than mugging up. Do not mug your derivations, just understand the concept. For chemistry, there are two types that you have to have. One is for organic and the other one is for inorganic. So conceptual learning is required for organic chemistry, and the questions are reasoning based, structure based, and complete the reaction in case of inorganic chemistry. So you will have questions like this. Solve the latest CBSE 10th or 12th sample papers 2021 to know the right paper pattern. Follow these tips and success will surely be yours. Thank you so much.
I would also like to add on that the students should start their day with prayer so that they can have faith in one Almighty God, and that would make them positive. And there should be solution oriented and positive thinking. That's all from my side.
Over to Deepika, ma'am.
Over.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the student panelists. My God, my God. I never thought it's like, we see you in physical classroom setup. That's a different setup because, you are free there. That is your safe zone. That is your safe environment. But, coming out, opening up in such a platform, I think we all have cold feet and cold hands right now. Trust me on that. We are actually undergoing while I'm speaking, maybe while Girti ma'am or Mala ma'am, they are doing, we all have cold feet. But literally, if you could express it so openly, you belong to some other generation, and that is true. So I would like to start this. बेशक मुश्किल वक्त बताकर नहीं आती, लेकिन बहुत कुछ सिखा कर जाती है. I hope all of you, my Hindi is correct in this particular aspect. So first, let us understand completely that pandemic is not recent. It is not a call for a development. It was an outburst. It was sudden. When we least expected it, life has set us a challenge to test our courage, our willingness to accept that change, and very much like this present situation. It is easy to announce and say, the situations are highly tough and, we aren't prepared for it. I still remember the day I was being a part of board evaluation team, February 2020, the last weeks of February 2020 or the first week of March 2020, when pandemic hit our country and lockdown was called for. Schools went under closure, everything was shut. We were completely unaware of the next move. What to be done? The administrators, teachers, facilitators, we just unlearned just to relearn the technology so that, we could make a contact with you, which you are so well aware of being, the Gen Z. We were, trust me, students, we were not ready to be a part, and we were not ready for this new development. It took us time. It took us a lot of time. You will not believe when I say it was our sweat, tears, and blood involved in it when we were there. And there we are right now in front of you, talking to you virtually. We were ready to be a part of your tech driven generation. I know you will still say, Madam, you don't know so much. Yes, we are still learning several concepts from you technologically, but I think we adapted it gracefully and we are ever ready to do so. My dear young friends, let us understand that challenges and changes are inevitable part of our life cycle. The onset of virtual learning teaching methodology, coping up with the pressure, and then this new pattern of examination, your higher order thinking skills, confined from the four walls of your house to high tech gadgets, the new schooling platforms like Zoom, Gmeet, Microsoft Classrooms, YouTube, whatnot. I never dreamt of it when I was a kid, were once for me a dream and a part of fiction, which I read it several times, and or I saw it in movies, which and which were forecasted by many researchers, scientists, that it would come into existence 20 to 25 years down the line. Maybe my grandchildren would have been a part of it, but it has all come to us sudden, just an outburst like that. And we all braced it, isn't it? We all braced it gracefully. Life changed, and life changes. So let's not look back. Let's appreciate the fact that we are a part of revolution, and I take pride in it when I say I am a part of this revolution, written in annals of history, that we were the torchbearers. Life is not easy, my friends, and if there is a change, there are few setbacks too. But don't fear. Let's not fear. Let's not have that typical mindset in our hearts, and let's not let our morals down. Instead of letting this fear dominate, and instead of letting safe zone get confined, caged, let us try to understand this, and let us try and let us have that willing mindset to face these challenges heads on. Let's not give up. It's not over yet. I would like to end this session with a quote, which I really love it. There are two ways of meeting difficulties. You alter the difficulties, or you alter yourself to meet them. My dear friends, on behalf of teaching fraternity, management, ed tech companies, which I'm a part of it, and teachers, I chose the second one. What about you? Life calls for a challenge, and let's get ready for it. Let's brace it. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.